Burwell Being with Sally Lander.
Hello and welcome to Burwell Being. I'm Sally Lander. I'm a yoga teacher living and teaching in Burwell, and over the last few weeks and months I've been interviewing some of the amazing people at the centre of Burwell's well-being. Kelly Reid, my interviewee today, is one of those people who has done so much for the physical fitness of Burwellians. And I absolutely loved meeting her for the first time here on Zoom and hearing about the way her life has changed over lockdown and how she got into this area of work, which is so important to her and which she's so passionate about. Kelly Reid. And I know you're so busy, Kelly. Thank you so much for coming.
Oh, pleasure. No problem.
You're one of Burwell's busiest people, I think. Do you live in Burwell, Kelly? I don't know.
Not now. No, we moved from Burwell back about 2 years ago now in sort of March time. And then December, just before the pandemic hit, we moved to Bar Hill, which is like obviously the other side. So I was kind of the time period between when I moved to Bar Hill and then when the pandemic hit, I was kind of commuting with my classes to Burwell, which at the time was a nightmare because the A14 wasn't done. So it was it was all fun and games. It was like a lotto. It was like, one night you think, right, what roads are closed tonight? How do I get home tonight?
Oh my goodness. Did you have many classes that were not in Burwell as well?
So I teach kind of all over. And then normally before COVID, my weekends were up and down the country delivering courses for instructors. So we were kind of like here, there and everywhere. So it's been a rest actually while COVID's been happening.
Yes. It must have been amazing. Yes, gosh. Have you been quite enjoying that? You can really concentrate on what you do rather than getting to what you do.
Yeah, 100%, Sally. So for me, when I think about how much time I wasted traveling, but actually you can't get that time back. And when you're traveling sort of an hour here, an hour there, or 3 hours there, 3 hours back, I just think, wow, I've got so much more done now. I've not had to travel. So for me personally, it's really made me and the company I work for courses really rethink what we want to do. And we're going forward with virtual from the get-go. We're not going to go back to delivering all the live courses that we used to all over the country because it's such a waste of travel. And also we've had people that have been able to come onto them from all over.
And how about Burwell? Will you come back to Burwell?
I'm hoping to. Obviously, we don't have any idea at the moment as to what's going to happen with group exercise. They're going to do because you're a yoga teacher, Sally, they're going to do an announcement hopefully at the end of this month. And I'm pretty sure it will still be restricted with regards to numbers and space and with regards to making sure that, everyone's okay coming in. I'm waiting to hear. But the room I used to use at Burwell was Mandeville Hall, which is a beautiful room. I love it. But obviously, it's just not big enough. So I think we worked it out between lockdowns before. If I was going to come back to teach, I think I could maybe get in about 9 people into a class, which wasn't going to sort of be feasible. It's hard. I mean, a lot of my Burwell participants have followed me online. They've joined me virtually, which has been amazing. It's been really good. And for a lot of them, it's been great because they've actually done the classes at their own leisure and their own time. They've not had to rush in, get childcare or sort tea out quickly to get out to class. And actually there's no pressure on them. If they can't make that class at that time, they can do it later once kids are in bed or if they want to do it on a Saturday morning instead, they can. So it's definitely something that's made me realise that I want to stay with my virtual classes no matter what. But with regards to Burwell, I'd love to come back, but I won't come back what I was doing before. I was teaching in Burwell sort of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday evenings. And for me, that's too much sort of travelling. If I do come back, it will be back sort of one evening, one slot.
Get a block. Yeah. And had you done some online before? Because this was all completely new to me, but I think you're always ahead of the curve, Kelly.
Not in the same way we've done it like this. I mean, I'd had an online package that a lot of my ladies and guys that were doing my weight loss programs, they had online workouts included within that they could do at their own leisure whenever they want, but they were all pre-recorded. So anyone who signed up had access to them. And you don't get, when it's pre-recorded, you don't get that kind of, you probably know this as well, Sally, with your classes, but you have a bit of a chat at the start. And it's even if, whether you're doing it on Zoom and you can actually see everybody, or whether you're doing it on Facebook Live and you're just seeing the comments come up and the names come up, it still makes you feel like they're there. It still makes you feel like you're having a chat. And like last night we taught Club Fit on Zoom and we were having a chat, and some of the ladies had got their little uns like exercising and dancing around at the same time, and it was fantastic. And it was just so lovely to have that, to see, you know, because before, you know, I was traveling so much, like I said, and getting in from classes at 10 o'clock at night, whereas I'm finishing classes now at 8:30, and I'm on the sofa within like 2 seconds.
Yes, it's amazing, isn't it? And how many classes do you teach a week?
It does vary with the VIP group that I hold. So they get unlimited access to as many classes as they want for $9.99 a week. So I made it so it was incredibly cost effective. But the classes, they aren't an hour. Most of them are 30 minutes or 40 minutes, around that kind of time slot. And I do anywhere sort of between 15 and 20 sessions. But some of those sessions aren't physical. Some of them are mindset, breath work. Some of them are talks, health talks about things like bone health, osteoporosis, midsection weight gain. They get kind of a bit of a full package. And then I've got my online clients I do via Zoom on top of that as well. So it keeps me busy, but really, to be honest, that's kept me sane. I needed it.
Over the lockdown, or is that always for you that you need to be busy?
I've always been busy. I've always liked to be busy. I've always liked to have that kind of timetable. Obviously, I don't like the rushing around between things. That always used to cause me stress. You know, am I going to get there on time? Is the traffic going to be bad? You know, am I going to get parked? All of those things. And having to cart all the equipment around and, you know, everything that comes with part and parcel of that. Is there anyone going to be there when I turn up? You know, after that. I do like being busy, but I definitely think that during lockdown, it's given me time to, you know, and a purpose really, to get up in the morning and get out of my pajamas and actually, you know, have some sort of normality, which I'm sure everyone's been craving as well.
Absolutely. But can you tell us about your relationship with Burwell? I know you... Yeah,
I love it. I moved to Burwell probably about 11 years ago after never even knowing about it, and instantly fell in love with the amount that's available in Burwell. I almost felt like I didn't live in a village, but I did. And you'll know what I mean by this, and I'm sure everyone listening will as well. You feel like you're in a village because everyone speaks to you. You get to know people. It's very much a community. People help each other out, that kind of thing. But there's so much in it. I mean, you've got a butcher's and a bakery and, you know, the co-op and hairdressers and literally everything that you could need in one location. And I loved that. I miss that massively, because here in Bar Hill, apart from Tesco's, there's nothing, you know, and I miss the local pubs and the community of that. I miss, you know, having a coffee shop. The coffee shop had opened while I was still living in Burwell, Elk, and I loved, you know, that, and just having all of those things on your doorstep where you could just walk down the street. And literally the post office was amazing, because I have to do so much post, because I do a lot of online training for instructors, and I'm constantly having to post work and get work back and forth. And when I used to go and see Neil and Rachel in the post office, and Linda and everyone that worked there. And I used to sort of go in and they'd look at me as if to say, oh no, here she is. Because I knew I'd have like a massive bag. I'd be like, I'm so sorry. Is it quiet? Can I come in now? They'd be like, yes, come in. If it was really busy, I was like, I won't come in now. I'll come back another time. But they were fab. And I've never, ever found since moving away from Burwell and living in other places, a post office that's so good. That's what I miss.
It's so great, isn't it? You know, I mean, doing this, interviewing people here. So I've interviewed Bob from the Fox, Steve from the Co-op. And, you know, and as you say, I haven't managed to interview the people in the post office yet, although I hope to. You just get this welcome in these places where mostly people, and the post office near where I lived in Cambridge, you know, they would sigh when they saw you coming. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, am I disturbing you?
Yeah. Am I sorry? Do you not want my business? It's sort of tut.
Very strange, and so much the opposite in Burwell, isn't it? Oh, well, you must miss it. But did you?
I mean, I do venture back. Bentley, our bulldog, he's still registered for his Healthy Pets Club at the vets, and the vets have been amazing. They've had him since he was, you know, a puppy, and Alistair used to be his vet, the vet there, and he was just phenomenal, and he understood the fact that I had no idea about raising a dog. I'd never had a dog before, and he just really helped me, and he's fantastic. So I do still come back to Burwell, obviously for his, you know, his vets and stuff like that.
What's the story of how all this happened, Kelly? To the extent that you really are a one-woman fitness empire. Almost no. I mean, that's not what I mean. But you're looking after so many people now and doing so much. How did it all start, and how did you get here?
Well, I've been in the fitness industry since I was 17, and it was always a kind of a backup, because I was in musical theatre and I wanted to be on the West End. That was my dream. I went to theatre school. I was in the Cambridge Arts Theatre when I was 9. I always wanted to do all of those things. And when I was 17, I had the opportunity to do my basic fitness instructor training while I was doing my A-levels. And I'd always loved fitness. I always liked, you know, that kind of jumping around, getting fit, being fit. We'd done it at college, done it at school. And I sort of jumped at the chance of starting to teach. And when I first qualified, I wasn't actually old enough to teach. So I had to sort of lay low until I became 18. And then when I was 18, I could start teaching in the little village hall where I sort of grew up. And I was mainly teaching sort of my mum's friends, you know, they were doing, and it was keep fit. There was no real differentiation between like different classes or anything like that. It was just keep fit classes. And I kind of, you know, rolled that for a while whilst still doing all musical theatre and still trying to do that career. And then when I think it was in about 2005, I just realised that I was never going to make it. I was never going to, you know, I just had to hang up, you know, the microphone, hang up the dancing shoes, and just thought, right, you need to focus on something else, Kelly. And if you're not going to, you know, be successful on the West End and be able to be on stage that way, then what are you going to do? And fitness was my second income. And I just thought, right, okay, well, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do it properly. I'm going to push myself and become recognised, and try as best I can to reach out to as many people as possible, to help as many people as possible. In that respect, I went to Australia traveling, and I was 23 at the time. And it was sort of a kind of, this is the end of one career and I'm now going to take a step to do another one, but I need a bit of a break in between to almost kind of just deal with the grief of leaving my dream. And I went to Australia, and I taught out in Australia at various places, just fitness classes. I taught things like aqua and Pilates and step and aerobics, things like that. And I just loved the vibe out there. I love the fact that everyone is active, everyone's fit, everyone's, you know, outdoors. And it really sparked that back up inside me. And I just thought, I know this is my thing now. I know this is what I want to do. So when I came back home, that was what I wanted to do. I just ploughed all my energy into becoming the very best fitness trainer I could and educator that I could. Went back to university and did my degree in teaching so that I could lecture and tutor and deliver further education for adults. And then that's kind of it's just always evolved from there. When I moved to Burwell, no one, of course, knew who I was. I didn't even know anyone in the village at all. I remember thinking, I sort of advertised for classes, and there was loads of other instructors teaching in the village. That's the one thing I kind of realised. I thought, God, this is a big village. There's a lot of competition here. And there was some instructors that I knew as well. And I thought, I don't want to tread on anyone's toes, but I really want to start a community business, but I don't want to take away from what they're doing. So I'm going to need to be careful with this. I thought this was when Zumba had just come out, that was just kind of coming into its bubble. And I thought, well, I'll go and do my training for Zumba, and then I'll kind of make it my own, and I'll deliver a class. And the only availability there was, because the halls were used up every night, the school was used up, it was just the Gardner Memorial Hall that was available on a Friday, 11 o'clock. And it was like, that's the work. It's a crap time, really crap time. On a Friday. And I thought, well, I've got to get people in. They've got to see me. They've got to know who I am. They've got to, learn that I've moved to the village and I want to start this. So I offered a free Zumba class and I advertised it everywhere as much as possible. And it was, social media was kind of ish okay, but not the way it is now. So it was very much posters everywhere, flyers everywhere, as much as I could. And on that first day, I remember, I think I got about 70 people turn up at 11 on Friday, on that Friday. I mean, obviously it was a free class, and I knew full well that there were people that would just come in because it was free, people who obviously just wanted to see who I was and see what Zumba was all about. I think out of the 70, I managed to retain about 30 on a regular basis. And then slowly, halls became available. Mandeville Hall wasn't even built then. So the Mandeville got built and that became available. And then and I used to teach in the sports centre up at the gallery room. Well, and I started thinking, right, well, I'm going to start putting on extra classes. And again, people kind of knew me from Zumba, but they didn't know me from Pilates. And Pilates was always my forte. And I remember the first class I taught for Pilates in the village, I think one person turned up and I was like,
my gosh.
Oh no. So I had to do again a bit of a freebie. Everyone who came to Zumba got a free class pass to go to Pilates to try it. And then gradually just built up the community. And we had such an amazing group of participants who would come on a regular basis, and it was a lifeline for a lot of people. We saw people get married. We had hen parties. We saw ladies fall pregnant because of losing weight, coming to class, changing their lifestyle, then having their babies, and, all these different things. And it was so lovely to have a really lovely community. And obviously, leaving the village, it was really sad because I knew that would slightly change. The dynamics would slightly change, but obviously I wanted to keep my community going. So that's why I kept going back and forth to the classes, because I didn't want to lose it.
Yes. So, I mean, I know very well how loved you are in Burwell. So your Burwell people at the moment, they're part of your bigger community. And that's working.
Some of them are. Some of them didn't follow me. Online fitness for them just wasn't something that they thought they, would like to do. And some people didn't join until sort of this lockdown. They kind of were hoping and praying that, things were going to get back to normal and that, everything was going to be okay. And then I think this lockdown, they felt like actually it might not be as soon as we think it's going to be, and they've joined. So some people haven't joined. Some people have joined with other people as well. They're doing other trainers' online classes, and that's absolutely fine. I've never been precious about that in that respect. You know, we've always said there's enough people to train. But the good thing about, I mean, with my Burwell classes, I used to have people come from Cambridge to come to those classes.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, which was lovely. Soham and Newmarket and Bottersham. So it wasn't just Burwellians that were in the class. There was kind of people from all over, which was great. But some people have now become part of a bigger community with my VIP group. Obviously, it doesn't matter where you live, because when you're online, you're online. Anyone can join.
Do you have any favourite stories about particular people?
Yeah, I was trying to think of this when you asked me, when you sort of sent the questions through about this, and I don't think, I mean, they've got so many memories of you know, brilliant situations and brilliant times and everything. And obviously individual people are fantastic and phenomenal, but I've got nothing that's kind of like a funny story or anything like that. But what I will tell you is that probably about 8 years ago, maybe even longer, maybe 9 years ago, I decided to run, and I'd done this before, but never in the community. I'd done it more in like a fitness convention for instructors. I decided to run a burlesque evening for women only in the village or surrounding, to come and enjoy on a Friday night. And this was when the school had the stage still. So we did it in the school. And again, I just sort of advertised it a little bit on Facebook. I'd got my Facebook group by then, and I put posters up advertising. And I'd sort of made it quite fun. It's going to be a chair burlesque fitness class. Come dressed up. You'll have a glass of fizz on arrival. So I just got sort of like some pink Prosecco, and I gave everyone a little glass of fizz. And it was in May, and I never imagined it was going to be as busy as it was. But again, I think I had over 70 women turn up, full burlesque outfits with feather boas and, you know, full get up. And Kevin, who was the caretaker at the school, I've never seen his face. He just, I mean, he'd set up all these chairs for me, and I'd sort of said to start with, we'll probably have about 40 people, it will be fine. So he sort of set 40 chairs up, and then more and more women kept coming in. And I was like looking at, going, I think we're going to need more chairs. We're going to need more chairs. And he was just watching all these women dressed in burlesque come through. And I just thought, this is brilliant. And we had the best evening. It was so much fun. And everyone just sort of, everyone embraced it. Everyone got dressed up, and they just let their hair down. And I think maybe some of them went to the Fox afterwards, or went to, you know, carried on wherever it was that they were going. And I just thought, wow, I can't believe we've been able to do this in a village. And all these women have absolutely embraced it. And then they've probably walked down the street in full burlesque get-up without a care in the world. When we finished the class, I think it wasn't late. It was, you know, sort of like a 6:30 till 8:30 class. When we finished, there was just feather boa everywhere, absolutely everywhere. The school was covered in feather boa. And I bought all these bottles of Prosecco for everyone to have a glass of fizz on arrival. And I remember saying to Kevin, I can't leave these bottles in the school bins. I've got to like take them away, because otherwise it's going to look horrendous if the bin men find all these bottles of Prosecco. But that was just one of my favourite things that we were able to do, that we were able to offer in the village.
Kelly, that's absolutely wonderful. You're so creative. I feel like, you know, from watching you on Facebook, you're just constantly coming up with new ideas, and you're always so elevating. You know, you always seem to be elevating everybody's mood, and the comments on your posts are always, you know, how good I feel after I've been to Kelly's class. And I think that's a real gift that you have. I really do.
Yeah, I think that when the person who taught me used to make me feel like that, used to make me feel happy, inspired, positive, motivated, gave me that feeling. And when I became an instructor, I that was always my very, very biggest focus and my vision, that I wanted people to feel the way I felt. I wanted people to have that. And that's what I've always tried to do. And I always say as well, if you do something you love and you really love it, then that shines through anyway. It's never a chore. It's never that, like we were talking about earlier with, when you're going into places like the post offices in Cambridge and people sort of roll their eyes and you just think, gosh, I'm wasting your time. Whereas I've never wanted people to feel like that. I've always wanted people to feel elevated, like you say, and inspired, and leave feeling like that as well. Feel like they've learned something, not only about what we've done, but also about themselves, and actually that they could do it.
That is wonderful. I wondered, Kelly, whether you have your own challenges for your health and well-being outside your work, and if so, how do you manage that? You're looking after so many other people.
Yeah, I do get burnt out quite quickly, and I have to be very careful of that. I will always be a massive fan of taking myself, my other half, or my mum to a spa for the weekend and literally just being pampered, enjoy, and that kind of, or even just, making sure before COVID, I would always make sure that I'd book in and have a massage or a facial or have some downtime. I'm lucky now with the online virtual stuff that we do, that I'm able to do other people's classes. And for me, and obviously, Sally, I know you're a yoga instructor, but for me, I teach fitness yoga, but I've never really gone into that yogi path. Whereas for me, I love participating in it, absolutely love. And before COVID, I was going to the hot yoga in Milton, and I loved that because it's not something I teach, and I can actually switch off and just have time to breathe and relax and enjoy. And I've also said, I've always, been someone who practices what she preaches. And if I'm telling my clients to journal how they're feeling, or taking 10 minutes a day of mindset or gratitude, then I need to do the same. So I make sure that I do that on a daily practice as well, because we can't pour from an empty cup. We can't just give all the time. You do get to a point where you're like, I'm tired and I need to rest. I'm much better now at listening to that, and I'm much better now at actually recognizing that. Whereas when I was younger, I probably didn't, and I'd sort of go to the wire and then literally have to sleep for a week.
Oh, that's fantastic.
The tip for anything to do with health and wellness and fitness is, first of all, find something you love to do, you enjoy doing, because we're always going to do something that we enjoy. Like I was saying about the yoga, for me, yoga is something I can do for me. Find something that works for you. Find an instructor or a program or whatever it might be that, again, works for you, that you find inspiring and you find that you work with and you resonate with. And then lastly, I would say is listen to yourself, listen to your body. One of the things that I've massively championed over this lockdown and the previous ones with my group is women understanding about the importance of their health and changing up what they might have done before. So as they're going through the menopause and they're postmenopausal, thinking about their bone health, thinking about adding in some sort of weight training. And I'm not saying lifting heavy weights and they're not going to get bulky, but from the perspective of improving their bone density, being able to actually lift body weight or lift hand weights, dumbbells, kettlebells effectively for them, and not be scared of it, not be scared of the fact that they're going to get big or bulky, or this is just for the boys. Actually, they've become really empowered and strong. And I've got, quite a large majority of my class are either in their menopause or postmenopause, or I've got quite a lot of participants who are in their 60s, and they've really changed their mindset on everything, and that's been amazing. Listen to your body and think about what works for you. I don't run. I'm not a runner. I see these people ploughing the pavements and I think, wow, you inspire me, because I could not do that. There's not a bone in my body that's motivated to do that. Whereas if you think you've got to find something that does, And I think with my group, we offer so many different classes that people can find what works for them. You're only going to do what you love doing. You know, if someone made me run, I probably wouldn't go very far.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much, Kelly.
You're so welcome. It's been lovely to meet you and lovely to be asked to do this. It's an honour.
Burwell Being with Sally Lander.